Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa and we have Butter in the shot today. I know I haven't featured my dogs hardly at all in recent videos and I feel so bad. So here's Butter. She's gonna go over there, hopefully. But Lily's also here with me. Anyways, let me gather my thoughts now that I'm all frazzled with the dogs being here. Today, I really wanted to do a video I thought of in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. And that was 5 book tropes that are oddly specific that I need recommendations for. And so I wrote them down and I wrote down examples pulled from books that I've either read or that are on my shelves and from the back fit the trope. So anyways, I really do need your guys' recommendations on these because at least a few of them are very specific. And so if you have anything that sparks a remembrance of something that fits that trope, please chime it down below because I am desperate for all the recommendations. I'm always on the hunt for these in bookstores when I'm just kind of like browsing the shelves and looking at the back of books. If any of these seem to be what the plot is about, I like immediately want to buy it. So, yeah. I also wanted to just quickly say thank you all so much for all of the warm wishes and congratulations and just lovely comments that I got on my previous video where I announced my pregnancy. It honestly made my whole day, made my week. My husband actually was watching the video and liking some of your comments. He read all of them too. And so, yeah, he was saying, wow, like everyone on BookTube is so nice. And it's so true. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you again. I'm very excited for this this new stage of my life, and I am glad that you guys are too. So yeah, okay, but let's move on. So I'm starting with the first trope that is not as specific. I just wanted to start with something that's kind of general. To hopefully get our minds warmed up. So, okay. So the first trope that I love is classic books with strong love stories woven in and good endings preferred. So what do I mean by this? So the 3 that I thought of that I've read all of these and have exactly what I'm looking for is Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. So this has a very central love story in it that it goes through its roller coasters, its ups and downs, but it ends well. And it is honestly a beautiful love story. I love it. I love this book so much. I love the movie too. The movie is amazing. But yeah, so here's a good example of what I'm talking about. Another one is Middlemarch. So by George Eliot. So this has a love story that is very like friends to lovers, I guess, but also it's something that they have to hold back from, like they're restricted in expressing their feelings for. So yeah, it doesn't, it's a very slow burn essentially, but I loved it for that. And that was what really kept me turning the pages with this book, was that element of it. There were obviously other things in the story that happened, but that love story written throughout was like so good to me. So yeah, here's this one. The third one is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This also has a love story. This one has a kind of an unrequited love to it, where Molly, the main character, is very much adoring of the hero in this, but he actually, for a lot of the book, thinks he's in love with someone else. And anyways, it's what drove me to keep going. I was like, oh my gosh, these two need to get together. So yeah, that kind of is something I love in classic books, that I don't know, how do I explain this? I do read classics, but I also kind of like knowing, going in, if there's going to be something that's really going to keep me going besides like the fact that it's a classic. And so a love story is something that I always look for and would love to find more of. Obviously, Pride and Prejudice being my favorite book of all time, it makes sense that that would be a trope that I would love. So yes, please leave your recommendations if that is something, I mean, and don't think it's too basic or too, like, rudimentary, because, like, I probably haven't heard of it, to be honest with you. I'm not a classicist, so yeah, just leave them down below. Okay, the next one is a historical fiction or saga with a forbidden love story. So, the three I have here, the first one is going to be an obvious choice of why I said this. That is The Thornbirds by Colleen McCullough. So this edition kind of explains the taboo-ness of it, but yeah, it's an age gap for one, and then also Ralph is a priest and Maggie is not of the Catholic religion, or I mean, not that it matters, but yeah, so like there's a lot going against them, I would say, and there's a lot of inner turmoil happening with Ralph on his love for Maggie and what he's gonna do about it. And anyways, I loved that part of the story. Some people are very put off by it, but it was something that I just was like eating up. I just loved it. So I'm trying desperately to find more of those in either my sagas or my historical fictions. Another one is a good example too, is From Sand and Ash by Amy Harmon, my second favorite book of last year. So this has a love story with a priest named Angelo and his childhood friend Eva, who's Jewish. And he ends up hiding her in one of his churches as part of history where the Roman Catholic Church ended up hiding a lot of Jews. So anyways, there was this huge conflict with Angelo trying to decide what to do about his love for Eva. And I loved that part of it, loved it so much. And it doesn't have to be a priest romance, I'm not saying that. It's just like something that makes it so you would expect these two to have a lot of things going against them or inner turmoil happening because of their love for someone else, if that makes sense. I don't know how to really explain it right, but this is one I have yet to read. It's on my shelves, but is also an example of this, a pretty intense example of this. But that is Finding Rebecca by Ewan Dempsey. So this is a book about a man, Christopher, who ends up being part of the SS. And I guess he's kind of posing as one, but he's actually trying to help the Jews. I'm not sure exactly, but he ends up trying to help Rebecca and desperately search for Rebecca, his childhood friend who's Jewish. Anyways, it sounds really intense. But I also really love if there is some sort of like circumstantial conflict happening with the couple where they're either on opposite sides of the war or different classes, that kind of thing. There's something holding them back, essentially, from getting together. And so, yeah, that's kind of the explanation for the second trope. Okay, so the third one is a very kind of specific one, and that is World War historical fiction with a doctor hero or nurse heroine. So, the one that I've read that I loved and would recommend to you if you're looking for this is Somewhere in France by Jennifer Robson. So yeah, there's a surgeon hero. It's set in the front at a field hospital, and there is something about a surgeon, I don't know what it is, but like that setting, the field hospital thing, I just love it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why, but I think it stems from like my love of like PVC war dramas. So think like Crimson Field, is that what it was called? On the Crimson Field. That was a really good one. Or even like Anne of Green Gables, the continuing saga, the third one that like a lot of people hate because it doesn't follow the books, where it shows Gilbert as a doctor in the war. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I just love it. So yeah, so there's that one that I have read that I really loved. There are two others I have to show you guys that are books I haven't read yet, but fit this trope. And that is The Woman at the Front by Licia Cornwall. I've shown this before, but this is actually a recent release in 2021. And it obviously follows a nurse heroine who, maybe she's even a doctor actually. But yeah, so she faces a lot of war and sadness, but also I think she also has a love story in here as well. I'm not for sure, but yeah, so here's this one. The other one is one I've had for a long time. Have actually tried a chapter 4 and read the first chapter and liked it, but I think I just ended up picking something else that was even more, I was even more excited about at the time. But that is Over There by Thomas Fleming. This is a big book. But yeah, so this is a World War I historical fiction book, and it obviously has a nurse heroine, and I'm pretty sure a surgeon hero too. So anyways, it's exactly what I am looking for, kind of thing. Yeah, Dr. Paul Lebrun in his surgical ward, and then this nurse here. So they must fall in love somehow. But yeah, so there's that one. Let me know if you know of any books that fit that trope. Would love to hear. Okay. The fourth trope that I love, also probably will come as no surprise, but that is epics set in the South or the frontier. So, classic example of this is my second favorite book of all time. That is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Yes, the Southern American novel, greatest novel ever. I love this book so much. It's really what kind of started me down this road of loving that setting. It doesn't have to be Civil War necessarily, but just like set in the South or in the frontier is kind of another random setting. But yeah, I just love this book so much. And I'm always looking for books that are compared to this book that could give me those feels. So one of them did actually, and that was Paint the Wind by Kathy Cash Spellman. Yes, you guys have seen this book before on my favorites list as well. Yeah, so this is set in the West, and it is kind of like the Gone with the Wind of the West. I loved it. Huge book too, and just something I could sink my teeth into and get lost in the yeehaw times. So yeah, so this is another example of kind of what I look for. This one is one that I think fits the trope as well, but kind of in a different way. And that's The Emancipist by Veronica Gogan Sweeney. So I have yet to read this, but I'm so excited about it, and it is a definite 5-star prediction for me. But this is set in the rich expanses of distant Australia. So kind of that, you know, epic, like frontier, do you call it frontier if it's Australia? I don't know, but just kind of like wild, I don't know, remote settings, I guess. And anyways, something about that old-timey, harsh reality setting I just love. And so anyways, yeah, this is compared to the Thornbirds as well. So obviously, I'm really excited about it, but that's the fourth trope that I love and need more recommendations from. And then the fifth one is, now we're circling back to historical romances. I know I've talked a lot about historical fictions and classics, but the historical romance trope that I really struggle finding anything that has this similar vibe is historical romance series with the same couple throughout the series. So the quintessential example of this would be Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. So this follows Jamie and Claire over decades of time, and the series is still going. But yeah, every book is huge, and you really just get lost in the time, and also rooting for these two characters and everything they go through. Every book is so exciting and fascinating, and I just love the fact that you really do get such a good deep dive into this couple's relationship and the struggles and joys that they go through. Anyways, I just love that idea, and really, really would love to find more books, more romances like that, historical romances like that. The other one that I have that fits this trope that I know of, that I haven't read, that I need to read, I know guys, I know, is Outlaw Hearts by Roseanne Bittner. Here's the step back. So this is a Western, historical Western, and it follows a couple here. One of them, he's an outlaw and she's a lady. And yeah, it's a series. I think it's maybe 4 or 5 books in the series. And yeah, they go through a lot together, and you know, they learn how to love each other throughout it all. And I'm so excited about this series. This is a 5-star prediction for me as well. But I was trying to come up, so I did 3 examples for each of these tropes, except for this 5th one, because I was trying to come up with any other series I know of, historical romance series that does that, and I honestly couldn't think of any. I'm probably just like having a space out moment and forgetting something, but anyways, I definitely need your guys' recommendations for that trope as well, obviously. So yeah, that is my video. That is the 5 tropes, the 5 oddly specific tropes that I love, that I need your recommendations. And will definitely be eagerly adding to my TBR on Goodreads for, and probably doing some sort of book haul for, because I need them. I need all these books. So anyways, if you would like, please like and comment and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.